Hello there. That's a hello from Alba. She thinks there's a biscuit going somewhere. I'd like to talk today about some of the pipes that I've got and some of the system pipes. So I'm here with an unusual pipe, and I'm smoking some Germain's Full Latica pipe tobacco 1309. It's quite strong. Anyway, it's time to talk about the interesting stuff. I'd like to talk today about some of the Falcons that I have, some of the Kirstens. There's a ROP there, a radiator pipe at the far end, and there's a pipe that I don't know much about, but my grandfather used to have something very similar. So the pipe I'm smoking just now has been made by a craftsman in Indonesia, and it's a lovely bit of wood, there's a bit of bamboo going on here, and of course the stem made of big plastic of some kind. You know, a nice modern pipe. And as you can see, it does what it's meant to do. But there are other pipes out there which attempt to do things slightly differently or slightly better. And one of the problems with pipe smoking is that you get condensation, you get tars and nicotine, according to some radicals. And so attempts have been made to make the experience better. Peterson has a system, which I might talk about on another video, together with calabash pipes and reverse calabash pipes. All have different ways of managing the smoke to make it a different experience. So we have a traditional pipe here, and where you burn tobacco, through comes everything, and it goes down and into you. And there's been various attempts to make the smoke a better experience, and that is to dry out the smoke, take out the condensation, take out the bite that some tobaccos can deliver. And a guy called Falcon, or it wasn't Falcon, but he started the company, came up with this idea of your bowl, bringing the smoke down to a little bump here where it condenses, and it's hollow there, and it's aluminium, so it condenses in that little bowl and then doesn't bother coming down the hole. But you've got a tube coming down here where the smoke further cools, and what you get out the other end is a nice dry flavourful smoke. And Falcon pipes have developed over the years. I think the original one was something like this. This is an older Falcon, but it's not the oldest, and there's little numbers under there, so Falcon enthusiasts, much like bus spotters and train spotters, can discuss the merits of various pipes. So the original design condenses in a little bump, cools on its way down. That other design I showed you was a shillelagh. That's a modern one, I just got recently. And as you see, they've got different bowls on them, which all adds to the fun. So that was I think a purple shillelagh. This is a gold one, again with a different bowl. And this bowl's interesting because it's got a meerschaum lining, which again helps treat the smoke. And they're all different shapes. There's a bent one here, bent Falcon, and I bought this meerschaum bowl. And you saw the other bowls there, that's another meerschaum. And you can have endless fun with these things. This is the first pipe I ever bought when I was 18, so it's doing well, not too many signs of wear and tear. But the fun thing about these pipes is, if you are an out of control piper, like some of us are, the fun thing is that you can pack up this with tobacco whilst you're smoking another bowl. So you're puffing away on this one, and then you've put another blend or your favourite one in there. Oh dear, finished. Clip, on you go, barely a breath wasted. But I'm not that keen a smoker. It's more just the fun of having different pipes, and also especially with one of my meerschaum pipes, not this one particularly, but another one I took away on holiday once. It was solid meerschaum, and after a couple of days it really did start to stink. So it can help to rotate your pipes, but you don't have to rotate your pipes. All you have to do is rotate the bowl, and this could even go through the dishwasher, I suppose, but I use soap and water to clean it out, so it's nice. So that is the Falcon pipe. There's another pipe that I came across called Kirsten. This was designed by an engineer called Kirsten. If you look him up on the internet, you'll find out that he's done many things. Fluid and air mechanics being perhaps one of these designed propellers, and he was a very brainy guy. Anyway, his doctor told him to stop smoking and he didn't like that advice, so he designed this pipe. And the idea is that you fill up the bowl with your tobacco. It then comes out this very small hole. It goes into the body, and there magic happens. The smoke is condensed, so all the moisture comes out, tars and a lot of rubbish, and that is evidenced by, if you ever pour out the contents of this after a bowl or two, you'll be surprised at just how much this has helped. There's a little hole in the top here that he's put, and that hole lines up with the smoke as it comes through the bowl. And the idea is that you turn it, and that seals off the hole. And that means that although this is full of revolting stuff, you can stick it in your pocket and go to your next place, and then take it out and then open it up, and you know where it's open because there's a little groove there, and there you go. That's the other end. Now these ends are machined so that they have a perfect fit. I've covered this in a wee bit of oil because they can bind, being aluminium. But there's different ones, like the Falcons. This is fun. This is exciting. There's things to fiddle with and play with. And this is a standing one, or what they call a bent one. So it just stands up, so you can puff away, put it down on a flat surface, and it'll sit there quite happily. This has got a meerschaum bowl that I bought and hadn't installed. The later pipes have a seal here, which helps stop leakage. These seals do need replaced, but they don't jam up like the original ones did. And as the design went on, there was a little addition to the mouthpiece, so you could take a bit of tissue or something and just push it through, a bit like cleaning a gun. You can clean the barrel. So that one's got a meerschaum bowl on it. You've seen the one with the metal bowl. This is another Kirsten, a bit later. It's very similar to the first one I showed you, just different model number stamped on it, but again it's got the seal there, and it also has a slightly longer poker to get that wadding through to clean your pipes. And of course the bit here has an opening at the very top, so you could have a fair amount of gunk in there before it would come out the end, the mouthpiece there. There's another. And also I have lots and lots of spare bowls. This one was made by Don Warren. I do have another pipe made by Don Warren, and he's an American, makes pipes along the Danish lines, and just makes sort of amazing shapes. That's a bit of a tulip flower going on there, and there's various other bowls that I've come by as these things seem to happen. I don't quite know how. Another pipe here, which is yet another system. To be honest, I've forgotten what this is called. If I do remember, I'll pop it on the screen. And this has a screw end, unlike the Kirsten. There's an airflow here. It was described as managing airflow. I think it's more along the lines of the Kirsten, as it's to keep all the gunk in the one place. And again, similar kind of end to it, pop in there. It's a nice boxy design. Again, it's from the 30s and 40s. There's a lot of competition to Falcon. It's incredibly popular. Many modern people in the, I think it was the 60s and 70s and certainly the 80s, felt very modern to have a metal pipe as opposed to these stuffy old wooden things that a lot of people ended up with. Well, the French got in on the act, and this is called a rope. I think these guys were made by. Very similar design, except that's a solid nipple at the end for the smoke to condense. Very similar connection, but this is a 2-point connection as opposed to the 4-point connection that Falcon had. And again, the smoke comes down the middle. It's rather nice design, and yeah, that does come out. Falcon had to fight many battles to maintain its patent of its revolutionary system, which many people copied, and this is seen as a copy of the Falcon design. Now I'm coming on to this pipe, which fascinated me as a small child, because my grandfather had one, and it's made of plastic. And I just couldn't get my small head around the fact that there was a fire burning in there, and this was plastic and it didn't melt. But Grandad would have endless fun puffing away and saying, look, it's not melting. The reason it doesn't melt is there's a meerschaum bowl in there. There's a small outlet to the meerschaum bowl, and the idea is that the smoke again comes down the middle and comes out the end. It's just a fun pipe. It reminds me of childhood things. This isn't my grandfather's pipe, but he had one exactly the same. And one of my more modern designs that I bought is this radiator pipe. And again, it's the same idea, that there's a bowl. In this case, it's quite a small hole. And it goes down into an aluminium chamber where it condenses, rather nice design, comes up the long pipe, cooling itself, and delivers delicious smokiness into your mouth. There is a tip I can give anyone that's thinking about pipes like these, and that is you pack them slightly differently. You'd fill the bowl up fairly tightly, in fact more tightly than you would fill a normal pipe bowl, and you take something and poke it right up the middle. What you're doing is making an air hole right in the middle of this fairly tightly packed tobacco, and then the draw comes down the middle. This means that there's less faffing about with it, and if you're lucky you can pretty much get down to the bottom of the bowl and you just end up with ash. It's quite rewarding to do that. Now, you wouldn't want to do that in a pipe like this, because as you smoke down, all the tars and liquid and everything gets into the bottom, and there's a layer which most people call dottle, and that is the tobacco at the bottom end of the pipe, which has absorbed all the moisture and the gunk. And a lot of pipes don't let you smoke down to the middle because the bowl comes down, but the hole's over on the other side. It's in the side of the chamber, so that you get to smoke down until you get to the hole, but there might be a bit more of the chamber left. And I think this is intentional, so the bit of tobacco at the bottom of the bowl absorbs all the moisture and gunk, and it stops it going into your lungs. It's basically a filter, and that must have inspired a lot of the pipe making systems that we see today. Peterson again, a very interesting system, which I think I'll talk about later. But again, you don't always get to smoke to the bottom of the bowl unless you start to play around, and then you don't really want to, because what's left at the bottom of the bowl is fairly horrendous. But the pipes like the Kirsten and the Falcon, you can get right to the bottom of the bowl. There's no dottle, there's no tobacco there, because all the moisture, tars and everything are collected in the bottom. A different way of smoking, different way of packing. It's just fun. Well, that's all I've got to talk about. Just the pipes I brought out with me today. As you can see, I've got plans to work in the garden, so I'll sit here and have a cup of tea and smoke the pipe for a bit longer. Thanks for listening to me. Bye bye.